what I noticed is because felt is what they call non-directional. In other words, it's not woven. So
Okay.
if you cut it, it doesn't unravel. So
Oh, I
then I saw
love
that I could
that.
put the edge, the seam on the outside, as you can see on the seam on
Yes.
the outside. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about it unraveling because it isn't going to unravel. And
That's
then I
right.
said, oh, what can I make out of this? Yeah.
Yes.
And then uh, I found out how expensive the felt was. And I said,
Uh-oh.
oh, we're not going.
We are here with another episode of About Your Art podcast. We're here with my neighbor, Audrey. And Audrey, can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Sure, sure.
Tell them who you are and tell them a little bit about your art.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Audrey. My company is called AudreyModern. I'm from San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I make a line of handbags and accessories out of wool felt and leather. This was a hobby that started maybe back in 2008, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But by profession though, I'm a retired dental hygienist.
Wow. Dental hygiene to adorable, cute, colorful bags. That is amazing. Were you a pediatric dentist or dental assistant?
No, dental hygienist for for a practice.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
for
reason why
dental.
I said pediatric is because I remember when I was going to the dentist when I was little, the pediatric dentistry would have a lot of colorfulness. So I
Right,
was
right.
wondering if maybe
Yeah.
that inspired you being around all those
No,
colors all
no,
that
no.
time.
Actually, it's just it obviously comes from the other side of my brain, whatever. Because this
Mm-hmm.
is I'm self-taught. I didn't
Wow.
take any design classes or textile classes. A lot
Wow.
of what I've done is a little bit of trial and error,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd be amazed what you can learn on YouTube.
Okay, that is so true. I learned how to knit on YouTube,
Okay.
and I learned how to sew during the pandemic, of
Yeah.
course, because I had
Right.
a lot of time.
Right. I've had a lot of experience with, fabric, not necessarily felt, so I could
Hmm.
sew. And I used to sew my clothes. I used to sew my daughter's clothes and her
Hmm.
costumes for Halloween. And then when I started, to add the leather, that was a whole other, I knew nothing about the leather. So,
Yeah, leather working
yeah.
is
So,
really
um,
an intricate thing.
yeah. So what I like to joke about is I graduated from the leather working academy of the YouTube leather working academy.
YouTube
Yeah,
University.
YouTube Universe.
Yes.
But and plus, now that I have, um, now that I am in part of the community of all these craft shows, I've become friends with other makers and especially leather workers. And
Hmm.
there's one leather worker who I call my teacher because, over the years he's, taught me things and explained things to me. And um, from just leather working to even like equipment, what kind of equipment
Hmm.
I don't know that there's certain equipment that even exists,
Yeah.
and so
Do you want to shout them out?
experienced leather worker. His name is Pong Gotti, and
Cool.
yeah, so he's been. I call him my, in Chinese it's Sifu. Sifu is like teacher. So,
Yes.
anyways,
That is
but
so
yeah,
cool.
and all the community when I first started doing this, I thought that it would be very competitive, but instead it's more of a
Collaborative.
it's said it's a collaborative, and everybody,
Mm-hmm.
almost everybody is very helpful.
Yes, and
So
I've noticed that even with me, starting this podcast, how you and other artists have just been so excited to be a part of it, and that makes it so much easier for me because, you know, I'm nervous. This is something that I did not go to school for either.
right, right.
I just watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube, so I figured, hey, I could do that, and I want to teach people. So, thank you for
Excuse
being
me.
bless you,
Excuse me.
bless you.
Um,
So thank you
sorry.
for being a part of the
No, no problem.
podcast.
Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me.
Yes.
I didn't start with felt and leather. I started making bags like out of canvas and
Okay.
upholstery fabrics, and then I saw something that was made out of the felt. And the big difference is for me is that most people know fabric is woven, and when you cut
Mhm.
woven fabric, it unravels, and so you have to do something to
Mhm.
the edge. Well, when I saw
Yes.
that something made out of wool felt, what I noticed is because felt is what they call non-directional. In other words, it's not woven. So
Okay.
if you cut it, it doesn't unravel. So
Oh, I
then I saw
love
that I could
that.
put the edge, the seam on the outside, as you can see on the seam on
Yes.
the outside. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about it unraveling because it isn't going to unravel.
That's
And then I
right.
said, oh, what can I make out of this? Yeah.
Yes.
And then I found out how expensive the felt was, and I said,
Uh-oh.
oh, we're not going there.
Uh-oh.
But it took me, a couple years to, from one
To be
piece of,
able to invest
yeah,
in yourself.
so I fell in
Yes.
love with the felt and added the leather, and this is sort of what happened.
Yeah, no, it's your work is literally so amazing and so intricate. I can tell you put a lot of love into your art.
Oh no, thank you. It's it's I do everything myself. I'm a one person,
You're a one man band?
one man band.
One woman band.
Yeah, I mean I make all the
That's cool.
bags. I mean I have family luckily who help with everything else.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed that was your
yeah,
husband
and
who was helping you
he
boost
put
it.
yeah he my studio, he put the whole studio together. Whenever there's new
Wow.
equipment that has to come in, and designs, the lighting, everything. And then my daughter
So good.
um, does all my website, social media,
Yes.
Instagram,
I
like,
love
how do you
that.
do this? How do you do this? Like she told me to get that AudreyModern Instagram above the mirror.
That's so smart
Yeah.
because my eyes immediately were drawn up to that when I came by to look at your purses and stuff. So that's because you're already looking, and then boom, yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
daughter's smart. Yes, you did good. What's one of the biggest challenges you faced as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome it?
um, let's see. I think that there are a couple things. Uh, for me, in the beginning is um, I might have a design or something. I have a design in my mind, and I
Mm-hmm.
know what I want to make. But the biggest hurdle is, do I have the skills or the equipment to know how to do that? Because it's not like, oh, I want to make this bag and then I can just make it.
Mm-hmm.
What you see, I tell people, is you might see a bag, but what you don't see at home was to maybe design this bag. There could be 10 or 12, a whole pile of of prototypes that didn't work out,
Yeah.
didn't work out, and then the other thing is also learning about the equipment, because there's not a place I could go to learn how to, like my first sewing machine, I tried to sew this felt on my regular sewing machine.
And
It
did
didn't
not
work.
work.
And then somebody told me, you need to get a industrial walking foot sewing machine. And I said,
Wow.
that's really nice. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
And now I have 4 walking foot industrial sewing machines.
Wow. I
And
love
then
that.
the other thing that is hard is, even to do these shows, there's no handbook that comes with how to do this
Mm-mm.
show.
And
So then,
even submitting
yeah,
pictures of
right,
your work
right,
too, knowing
right, from,
what type of
right,
pictures they're gonna want.
how to take the pictures, who takes the pictures,
Yes.
and then booth design, booth setup, and then for
Yes.
me, because I travel from San Francisco, is how do I get from the stuff from there to
To here.
here,
Yeah.
and and
And not
unfortunately,
to mention on our way to this show there was a threatening of snow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yes,
like we have to deal with so much
right,
as traveling artists.
yes. But I will say that um, the bottom line for me, the best part being about doing this and being able to do this is the community of artists that I have met.
Yes.
This is the yes, I need to sell some bags, but the uh, the community of people, friends that I have,
Hmm.
is beyond anything that I could ever imagine, and that's what I tell people. Yes, I love to do this, and I do need to sell some bags, but I now have friends who make some of the most amazing things from all over the country as well as all over the world. And I am so very grateful.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. It's like we're a big family. It
Yeah,
feels like
no,
because
no,
I'll see people, you know, I'll see them in Ann Arbor,
mm,
Michigan, and then we'll see them in Florida, and it's just like yeah, it's a beautiful
no,
community
right. And
being
I,
a
at
part of
one
these
point, I thought
shows.
about not coming, and then my husband goes, "Okay, but then you're not going to see A, B, C, D." And then
Yes,
I said, "Oh, okay, we better go."
yeah, that's right.
And then this last thing I'll mention is, we met a young couple in Philadelphia last year and struck
Hmm.
up a conversation with them. They were really friendly, and they walked by yesterday, and then
Hmm.
I looked and we looked at each other, and I said, "Wait." She said, "Wait." And then I regurgitated the whole conversation we had with them and everything. We were laughing so hard because,
Yes.
I met them once in Philadelphia. We met them here, and we
Mm-hmm.
follow each other on Instagram, and we
Yeah.
both have a love of cycling, and so we talked about bicycling and all the
Yes.
stuff. And
It's
it
beautiful.
was just they walked away, and I just said, "Oh my God, that was
Yeah.
so fun."
It's so fulfilling because, I just think that the connection we have as human beings, or it keeps, it's a part of what just keeps us all going,
Well, yeah, there's I forgot the exact quote, but a friend of mine quoted something about how, the craft, as an artist to what we make, that's one connection. And
Mm-hmm.
then the craft to the connection we make with other crafters. So it's at this point now in time, I think it's so important because it connects us to our craft, to each other, and to the world.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful, especially at a show like this, the Baltimore ACC show, which is one of the biggest. This show is a big deal.
Hmm.
So that means that you are not only, doing what you love, but you are being recognized for it too as part of this community, and
Yeah. Well,
it's
thank you.
very
Right.
fulfilling.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank
that's
you.
so good.
No.
So I can't wait to show this to other up and coming artists to let them know that they can be a dental hygienist one day and a successful entrepreneur the next.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, okay. My company is called Audrey Modern, and
Mm-hmm.
my website is audreymodern.com.
Mm-hmm.
And same with, you can follow me on Instagram. It's the same thing. It's Audrey Modern.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple. I look forward to.
That's a great name too, because your style is so modern. I love
That is
that.
that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But it's also like these give me like classic, like modern, but like classic and
Hopefully timeless is what
yeah,
I want.
yes,
Yeah, classic,
timeless. That's
timeless.
the word.
Right.
Like, oh, let me go ahead and focus in on um this beauty right here because I'm trying to manifest this after after we do the wedding stuff. So when my husband watches this episode, he can know what to gift me. Wink, wink.
No problem. And my tagline is felt to be felt.
Oh, felt to be felt.
Yes.
And that's true. Like even your leather too is really soft.
Yeah.
So it both complement each other
Thank
so
you.
well.